Welcome back to the podcast. Today is a special day for me because, as you guys know, it's no secret, I am a March Scope fan. That is right. Today we have Mari on from March Scopes. Mari, how are you doing
Hi.
today?
Hi, I'm doing well, thank you. How are you?
Yeah. Well, it's a beautiful day. We're alive and
Mm-hmm.
breathing, and you're in Japan and I'm in
Yeah.
California. So,
Uh-huh.
what an amazing world we live in where we can have this
Yes.
conversation, right?
Yes. Yeah, very convenient,
So,
very good. Mm-hmm.
super cool. So, a little bit of background, guys. SHOT Show this year, 2025. I'm sort of going booth to booth. I have a bunch that I'm really interested in, but the number one booth that I'm interested in going to is March Scopes. As you guys know, last year I picked up the 8 to 80 for my F class rig. And I just had to meet these people. I had to talk to them. I had to understand what's going on with this optic. Why is it the way that it is? And so that's when I had the opportunity, and I ran into Mari there. And Mari was so kind. They gave me in 2 days about 4 hours of time where they let me film with them, and we did a lot of stuff. And so it was super cool. I know I've been very appreciative of that and sent my thanks over. But again, I am. Thank you so much for that. But how was that for you, right? Was that your first SHOT Show, or do you go to a lot of these?
My first shot show was actually in 2019. I
Okay.
was there as a guest at the
Okay.
beginning. Our
Mm-hmm.
former distributor, March Optics, run by
Mm-hmm.
Shiraz, was hosting the shot show, and I was just there to help out. And then our actual first shot show held by Deon
Mm-hmm.
the manufacturer of March Skips was in 2020. So
Okay.
that was my actual first shot show to host.
So you're a seasoned
Yeah.
veteran of SHOT Show. You
No,
you
but
know the
then
ins and outs.
we couldn't make it during COVID.
Mm-hmm.
So the last one was our was my second shot show to
Mm-hmm.
exhibit as a manufacturer. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm not seasoned yet, but hopefully maybe one day. It was
Well, you
great. Yeah.
Yeah, you did an amazing job. We sort of talked about this, and if you guys had the opportunities, if you haven't, go check out the videos that we put out around some of the March Scope Octas. But there were so many out there, and it was like you knew all of them in your head. It was like you had the manuals locked in. You knew, every working component of it, and maybe I don't know, maybe it didn't feel like that, but I was just so impressed how easily it was for you to jump between all of these scopes. How many did you guys have out there?
At the shot show itself, we displayed about 26 scopes.
26
Yeah.
scopes. I mean, it was pretty impressive. And
Yeah.
and you guys had some really so the way this sort of worked for me is I went from ZCO, right?
Of
Zero
course. Yeah.
compromise. Then
Yeah.
I went directly to
Mhm.
Collis and then
Mhm.
directly to you guys, right? Because
Oh, really?
I wanted to look at these 40 power scopes one after another, right? And they weren't near each other. Like I had to sort of like
Oh.
bounce around. And so
Oh.
when I got
Okay.
there, you guys had your tracking scope up, which
Mhm.
was really interesting and innovative designs to that. You had your new PRS scope up,
Mhm.
and I got to meet like every like rep you guys have around the world.
Mhm.
And I have the A80. And I got to talk to the designers behind the reticles and your entire team, and it was just like blew my mind being there and experiencing
Right.
that. So it was super cool. I would definitely recommend anybody that's out there go check it out. Those days must be so long for you.
Yeah, it was very intensive. But I really enjoy talking to shooters, actual
Hmm.
shooters, and our dealers. It
Hmm.
was so much fun. And
Yeah.
like you said, we have many representatives helping us out, like
Hmm.
from flying from UK, from Canada, like top shooters in the US, and we have our engineers there. So it's kind of like a reunion for me.
Hmm.
um, it's very fun and exciting, and we get to hang out. I always enjoy being at the shot show.
It was for me too. And this is sort of thing, right? I had about 160 booths that I had on my like I want to go visit. list, and
Mm-hmm.
that went down to about 50, maybe 60, something like that. That I
Okay.
ended up spending time with. And so I got to see a lot of them. I walked past many, many more. And you
Mm-hmm.
guys were the only booth that I saw actively that had the level of experience, engagement, and executive suite there all in once, right? Your
Mm-hmm.
guys' owner was there, some of your
Yeah.
designers were there, your top shooters, right? You had Gary there, who's a top
Mm-hmm.
UKF class shooter. You had Tim there, who's a top
Mm-hmm.
US shooter. And I'm sure there were other people there that I didn't get to spend a ton of time with who are so
Mm-hmm.
it was a really, I try to express this to people, but it was such a unique experience, right? I mean, I got to shake the hand of the owner. I got to, talk with you, who's so super knowledgeable about this stuff, and then I got to talk about scopes from a first person perspective with competitors, right?
Yeah.
Which made it such a special experience. Is that what you guys try to bring to every trade show you guys are at?
Yes. 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 That's
Yeah.
what we try to do. It actually also reflects how we develop our scope too.
Hmm.
So we are the manufacturer. We design, we develop, and we hand build each scope. But we want to put what the shooters want
Hmm.
into our scope. So we have a very close connection with shooters and with our distributors. We call ourselves March Family.
Hmm.
We communicate on a daily basis, like friends, and
Hmm.
uh, that's how we create our scopes by listening to
Mhm,
our friends, our users.
mhm,
So it's just not about the trade show, but it's about our whole concept being
mhm.
close with companies, being close with shooters. Yeah, but this is what you will also experience at the IWA trade show held in Germany
Mhm.
too.
Yeah, I'm very excited. This next year, I'm planning going back to SHOT Show and then IWA as well.
Oh, okay. I look forward to seeing
So
you there then.
I'm excited. So let's talk a little bit about you, right? I mean, we're going to
Okay.
spend a lot of time talking about the scopes, but
Right.
when I met you, I didn't know who you were, and I did a little bit of research. The first thing I found on you was the PRS competition that you did and the filming that they did behind that. And I
Yeah.
was like, wow, this is so cool. Not only from like, oh, because I've met you and I like March, but also I'm like, I didn't see that video, and I'm a huge consumer of MDT like
Uh-huh.
media. And so that was super cool. But you're a competitor yourself, right? Can you tell us a
Yes.
little bit about sort of your shooting journey?
Okay. So before I joined Deon, I was a shooter first
Hmm.
in Japan. And the shooting regulation is very restricted. So our main shooting is called ISSF, which is Olympic shooting. So there's 10-meter air rifle in standing position, and then there's a 50-meter small bore rifle, a 22 LR in prone position or three positions, which is standing, kneeling, and prone. And
Hmm.
then there's 300-meter 308 in prone. That used to be a Olympic shooting, but now it's no longer an Olympic game because probably about the inequality, maybe because some shooters will spend like too much money on the stock or on the ammunition, and
Hmm.
Olympics is all about like physical capability, so it's no longer Olympics game anymore. But these three shooting is a major competitive shooting in Japan, and
Hmm.
I do all these three. And through my shooting, I found out about March Scopes. So that is my basic shooting, but I also wanted to experience what kind of shooting international shooters do. So in 2019, I went to Australia to shoot F class.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, it was my first time to actually shoot outside.
Mm-hmm.
With the help of our March distributor and March owner, I was very, very fortunate to win few medals, but this is heavily due to the March owner who lent me the rifle and also made ammunition for me. So I was very lucky. And in 2024, like you said, I went to my first PRS match. It was the Pro-Am match.
Mm-hmm.
And I teamed up with Brandon Rudge, who's
Mm-hmm.
the pro shooter. I'm actually the first Japanese to complete the whole stages.
Wow. Oh, Guinness Book of Records stuff right there. I like it.
Yeah. Well, I can say that PRS is very brutal, but
Mm-hmm.
also very exciting.
Mm-hmm.
Makes you feel alive. I don't know if I can do it on a daily basis, but I sure did enjoy it. And the video, which MDT took for us, was
Mm-hmm.
actually my lesson to be
Mm-hmm.
able to shoot at that PRS match.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew nothing about PRS, all the different positioning. That was
Mm-hmm.
my first. And having to shoot several distances in such a short period of time, or to be able to find the target uh, out of like nowhere, that was the most challenging thing for me. So to be able to
Mm-hmm.
find the target, those things, Andy, the push shooter at MDT at that time, uh, he was so kind and taught me all the basics. And
Mm-hmm.
I think that was why I was able to complete the 20 stages at the Pro Am
Mm-hmm.
match. And of course, I had great help from Brandon too.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. And so you
Yeah.
mentioned that you had for the F class shooting you did, you borrowed
Yeah.
that from the owner. Is the
Yes.
owner an F class shooter?
Yes. Yes. He's
Oh, I
a
didn't
he's
know
a
that.
he's a yeah March Scope owner. Daryl Barrow.
Mm-hmm.
um, in Australia. He has
Okay.
two beautiful sons. They are also shooters and March Scope owners. And
Mm-hmm.
I also had help from Stuart Elliott, who's
Mm-hmm.
the former Australian distributor. So
Mm-hmm.
I am very lucky.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like surrounded by great people, great shooters, and yeah, that has helped me immensely and brought me here today.
Well, you definitely have a lot of great shooters surrounding you. And I think
Yes.
that, this is, I say this over and over. This community is extremely discerning about the products that they choose to
Yeah.
invest their money in.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that it's a clear indication of how well you guys are doing and how well you're listening that so many high-end shooters are, using your guys' product. When I was at Southwest Nationals, I sort of made a point in my head to take a look at what everybody was using, right?
Right.
And I I would say that maybe 40 to 60%, somewhere in there, were
Really?
using some version of a March scope, right? It was really, really, really high. I'd have to look back through the photos, but I was blown away with how many people were engaging with that product, right? Um,
Mm-hmm.
and that's really great. I mean, obviously there's a lot of optic companies, ones that are American made, have been around for a very long time, things like that. People really respect what they've done and what they contributed,
Yeah, of
but there's a
course.
lot to be said about pushing the industry forward, right? And we need that in
Mm-hmm.
everything. And so it sort of
Mm-hmm.
feels like that's what March's mission has been in many
Yes.
ways. Do you sort of feel like that's what you guys wanted to do?
Yes. 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 Precisely. That's
Mm-hmm.
our mission. So our company's founded in 2004,
Mm-hmm.
and our March brand started in 2006.
Mm-hmm.
So the founders originally worked for an OEM manufacturer, making rifle scopes for so many top famous companies.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but the founders always wanted to make something of their own. where there's no like budget, and that they
Mm-hmm.
can just put all the ideas that they have in their babies.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what they wanted to do. No compromise for material, no compromise for design. And like for like A280 Majesta, it took them like 5 years, more than five
Mm-hmm.
years to develop it. So they would just like pour their soul and everything into the product, and that's what they wanted to do. So yeah, I think that's the reason why we try to be innovative.
Mm-hmm.
We have accomplished many world's first things,
Mm-hmm.
such as making the world's first 10 zoom ratio scope, or world's first and still the highest 80 power scope. Um, the first company to adopt the ED lens, extra low dispersion lens.
Mm-hmm.
It is common, getting to be more common now, but we were the first. We actually found the material from a camera, and that's where we got the idea. And then we worked closely with the lens manufacturer
Mm-hmm.
and made uh, our ED lens so it can be fitted in to our scope.
Mm-hmm.
We are also the first to assemble the super ED lens intrascope, and I believe we may still be the only one who's doing it. It's very close to pure fluoride,
Mm-hmm.
and it can reduce the chromatic aberration more than the ED lens. So super
Mm-hmm.
ED lenses are assembled in the high master lens system. It's
Mm-hmm.
part of it. Um, and we are the first and probably the only manufacturer who offers the dual reticle system. So for a normal scope, there's only either first focal plane reticle glass
Mm-hmm.
or second focal plane reticle glass, but
Mm-hmm.
both has their merits and demerits.
Sure.
But we thought, like, why not? Why not combine two glasses and bring out like the best of it? So in our 1 to 10 by 24 shorty FFP scope, and our 1.5 to 15 by 42 FFP scopes, they actually have the dual reticle system. So 1 mil will always stay at 1 mil at all powers. But then when you look through the reticle, the cross line and the dot are consistent size, which is the benefit of having the second focal plane reticle. So
Mm-hmm.
it is almost nearly impossible to have like two reticle glasses in one scope, because if you don't manufacture it precisely, then you will be able to see the shift between those
Mm-hmm.
two reticles. But because we meticulously, hand build it, we were able to be able to offer that. We also offer a temperature anti-drift lens system. Uh, so we got another idea of that lens material from automotive camera.
Mm-hmm.
And so, cars will drive in all weather conditions. And we were
Mm-hmm.
thinking, why can't we use that kind of material in our lens? So our lens system will be able to like naturally adapt to temperature changes.
Mm-hmm.
So we developed that, and that temperature anti-drift lens system will be is assembled in your favorite, maybe 8 to 80 by Majesta, and the 5 to 42,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah, other scopes. So yeah, we are the pioneer, I think, of many innovations,
Mm-hmm.
and we really hope to keep continuing with what we do, because we know that shooters ask for the best,
Mm-hmm.
and they have to be able to see and use rifle scope to be able to shoot.
Mm-hmm.
and we think of us as shooters partners.
Hmm.
So we want to keep our best to support them. Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty amazing systems. And the hardest thing, right? I'm looking at a couple scopes right now, and the hardest thing is to show people through
Uh-huh.
this format how
Mm-hmm.
well scopes perform, right? Because there's no great way to film them through the scope, right?
Yeah.
Um, and so it's really unfortunate because you can say a lot about a product and you can have people show, but until you can get behind it, you're sort of
Mm-hmm.
just you're going on what people say, and so you sort of hope, well, those people are honest and truthful and things like that. And I've been lucky enough to see that what's being said aligns with what I'm also seeing
Mm-hmm.
within the March systems. And so that's been a really special thing to see. And I don't want to jump into the scopes too early, but I will say that like there are really a lot of innovative things that are happening through there. And it sort of leads me into this sort of next idea of how you guys choose to pick your teams, how you are designing stuff in house, which is very, very uncommon, right? I'd love to
Mm-hmm.
talk a little bit more about that because you sort of touched on that when we were at SHOT Show.
Yeah.
Somebody, it could have been you, could have been somebody else, but talked about how you guys have PhDs working on your scopes and you guys
Yes.
are clearly pulling from all of these different industries. Can you tell us a bit about that? Your guys' in house manufacturing, your team, things like that?
Uh,
As
we
much
are
as you can,
very,
right? I don't want you
yeah.
to give too much away, but you know.
Well, we are a very small
Mhm.
manufacturer. Um, we don't have many people working at our
Mhm.
factory, but we try to pick the very, very best.
Mhm.
So the designers, uh, the founder, who's currently the chairman
Mhm.
and is the top hardware engineer, uh, is the uh, he's the leader of the development team. And
Mhm.
then his name is Mr. Shimizu. And then Mr. Nishikubo, he's the optical design genius.
Mhm.
Um, so he developed A280, Majesta, and all the other scopes. And
Mhm.
yeah, and we also have the engineer who has the PhD in
Mhm.
physics, I think.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, he works closely with these two founders. Uh,
Mhm.
we will also have a few more engineers joining us soon. And for the assemblers, most of them have assembly background. Um, so it's kind of like mouth to mouth advertisement, like for
Mhm.
recruiting as well.
It's very
So
grassroots,
yeah,
the way that you guys are doing stuff. I've noticed,
yeah, yeah.
which is
So
impressive considering how fastly you guys are growing in the United States.
oh, okay. Well, I didn't
Yeah.
notice, so thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
So
I just sort of to touch on that a bit, right?
mm-hmm,
A little over 10 years is about how long I've been following the industry, right? So I can sort of generally like be like, okay, I remember when these scopes were really popular, when these scopes were really popular. And I can
yeah.
remember not hearing about you guys. And then all of a sudden I'm hearing about you a lot and a lot and a lot and a lot. And I'm like, who is
Well,
this scope company? Where, like, what are you guys talking about? Where are they from? Like, and then there's been this perception in so far as glass is there's really Japan is one of the top, Germany is one of the top,
yeah.
Austria. So
Mm-hmm,
if you're getting glass from that area, it's likely already that perspective that it's probably pretty good coming out of there.
mm-hmm.
So it's been a really interesting thing to do, but also like I don't ever see like any like there's not like heavy marketing necessarily. There's not heavy social media. There's not a lot of that. You guys are very grassroots, and I love that a lot because you guys are at stuff, right? Like you guys are
Mm-hmm.
going places and meeting with people and getting direct feedback and things like that, which has been super cool to see.
Mm-hmm. So because we put not only our soul but our money
Mm,
into R&D, our R&D ratio is very, very high, which is more
mm-hmm,
than 25%, which is
mm-hmm.
actually crazy. And
Yeah,
then
it's
on
pretty
the
high.
other hand, we have less than 0.5% of marketing fee.
Mm-hmm.
So I run the marketing and sales department, but I always struggle there because I can't I can't spend too much money. Um,
Mm-hmm.
we do run our website,
Mm-hmm.
Facebook, Instagram, YouTube here and there,
Mm-hmm.
but we don't spend much money.
Yeah.
So maybe that's
But what
why
you guys
many
have
shooters
done,
haven't heard about us.
what you guys have done really, really well is position yourself with key people globally, right?
Yes,
A
I
great
agree.
example of that is Texas, right?
Right.
Tim Vaught,
Mm-hmm.
Doug, those guys out there with Team
Yeah.
Vivori and the
Yeah.
Bayou Shooting Club.
Mm-hmm.
Um, those guys are, I'm not, I think all of them will agree because they're very, very humble people that anybody
Mm-hmm.
can win on any given day at that. But there's a strong argument to be made that they are the strongest club in the country. And a lot of innovation spreads out from there. A lot of growth. That team's done really well. Those individual shooters have done well. That range is hyper competitive. I haven't been able to shoot there yet, but I hear a lot about it. Right, it's one of the top 5 destinations in the country to compete at, and you guys have positioned yourself there. Additionally, in England, you guys are out there with Gary, who is
Mm-hmm.
well linked into the community out there. And so there's a lot to be said about what you have done with what you have, right? Um, You've
Yeah,
done really great things. You
exactly.
guys have extremely strong ambassadors. And I love
Yes.
to see that. And this is where, like, I thought it would be fun to talk to you as a marketing person myself, and you being the
Mm-hmm.
marketing side of March. It's respect, right? I respect what you're doing and how what that reach looks like, and not only that, the fact that they're great products, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's been really, really cool to see.
Yeah, we were actually very lucky to be able to shoot at the bio range
Hmm.
last month. I
Mm,
I I shot 1,000 yard
hmm.
of class, and I brought our new CEO with me. She
Hmm.
has never shot in her life, and
Wow.
she participated that match too. She didn't shoot the full match, but she
Hmm.
shot partially, and she
Hmm.
loved it. And everyone at Bio was like so welcoming.
Hmm.
There are many March Scope owners, but everyone there was just like so friendly, so welcoming. We really felt at home, and
Hmm.
yeah, we really want to thank everyone there. Yeah.
Yeah, they've all been so amazingly nice, especially to me, right? Because I've had an opportunity to meet them, and I'm growing in my F class, shooting experience. I'm still very novice in that experience, but they've all been super nice, and it's fun because I like March, and a lot of content comes out around March through them and through Gary and some of your guys' channels, and so it gives me something to look forward to, right? I'm like, oh, okay, I know where to look for these products, right? For this
Hmm.
content, which has been cool. So,
Yeah.
um, so you were out there in Bayou. Where else have you guys been sort of going? Or where do you guys plan to go? Right? I think we talked that you're going to be at the Euros soon.
Yes, yes. I'll be at the Euros, and then
Mm-hmm.
in October, I'll be in Italy to,
Okay. Is that for ELR?
yeah, ELR. It's
Okay,
gonna be
ELR.
my
I thought.
first
Okay.
first experience there. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go there with Gary,
Oh, nice.
and yeah, we're gonna sponsor the match.
Great.
So yeah, I'll also be able to experience some ELR shooting. So I'm very excited for that too.
Yeah, is that the King of 2 Mile out there?
It's different. It's
I can't remember what that was. That was happening.
uh it's I have to look it up.
That's okay if you don't remember right now.
it's it's
I
it's
do.
it's it's not the
Mm,
King of 2 Miles.
Mm.
It's not that platform, but
Okay.
it is a
Yeah, they
ELR shooting,
so I
and
know
it's
that
growing.
yeah, recently there was like a Worlds in France, I think. I know that there was
Yeah,
another
that was
thing coming up in
KO2.
Italy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
King of.
ELR is on my radar right now because I'm going to do some
Mhm.
stuff around it next year, so I'm sort of paying
Mhm.
attention to what's going on in that space, but
Mhm.
um yeah, that's super cool. So you guys are out in Texas in the US doing some
Yes.
F class. You're going out to
Yeah.
Italy to do
Yeah.
some ELR, and
Mhm.
I know you guys have Brandon out there in Texas right now, who's Brandon and
Yeah.
Shane. They were both on the podcast, and
Mhm.
we're
Yeah.
talking about their experience with the 542 PRS version, which was really cool. So you guys have a lot going on. Do you guys have anybody using? I don't know if you know for like rimfire.
Shane does.
Oh, that's right. Shane is a rimfire shooter. I forgot
Yes.
about that. Yeah. So
He's a
Shane, and
champion.
then
Yeah.
yeah, Brandon centerfire. You guys have ELR. You have people in F class. I'm sure. I know for a fact there's a lot of people using them for bench rest. I see them all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah. And in Texas, we have our dear friend Danny Bushman. He's
Mm-hmm.
actually the reticle designer of the Majesta's WFD.
Mm-hmm.
And he has introduced Tim to us. And
Mm-hmm.
then Tim introduced Brandon to us.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, yeah, so Danny's kind of in this I guess the start of
Mm-hmm.
the the chain of people uh,
Mm-hmm.
initiates. He
Yeah.
has been
Yeah.
a longtime friend and a longtime March user as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, him and Tim, I want to have on the podcast to talk about the reticle design,
Mm-hmm.
because the video that they put out on
Yeah.
the F class specific reticle,
Mm-hmm.
I forget the exact name, but for the 8 to 80,
WFD.
yes, thank you. I watched that 30 times probably. Like
Really?
I love that video, the way it's
Wow.
explained, the way that they like it's sort of like half like history, half like, hey, this is how it works through each stage. And
Mm-hmm.
nobody puts out videos like that. There's not, like, I don't know any other optic company that has put out a video that thorough. And yeah, I'm sure it was just like one of those things where it's like, hey, we want to explain this brand new thing that nobody's ever done, really, right? For this specific division of shooting in long range precision. But in general, I was just like, that's one of the things that gravitated me towards March. Was I was, it can be really scary to spend a lot of money on an optic, and you want to be competitive, and you're like, well, what is this reticle? How does this work? Why does this matter to so many people, right? This tool that's
Mm-hmm.
inside the scope. And so when they put that out, it was just like everything to me. It was one of the things that really made me interested in moving forward with that purchase. And so I definitely want to get them on, the same way that I had Shane and Brandon on to talk about that reticle design.
Mm-hmm.
The 8 to
Yeah.
80 design is amazing.
So Danny's the sole designer of that reticle, WFT
Mm-hmm.
reticle, and he is the one who actually put that video together
Mm-hmm.
because his design is so um, creative
Mm-hmm.
that many shooters may not understand the concept.
Mm-hmm.
So he saw the necessity of uh, telling people how it could be used effectively. So
Mm-hmm.
he put that material all together um, for us. We didn't
Mm-hmm.
even ask him. It was a very friendly gesture. And then he asked Tim to join him on the video, and that's how it was put out. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we really thank Danny and Tim.
Yeah. Well, they did a great job. So you could just let them
Yeah.
know again. I loved it. I might even link it in the bio for this, because it is
Oh,
really, really
okay.
good. And
Oh,
if
well,
you're
thank
looking
you.
to get into F class, there's a lot of great scopes out there,
Of
but
course.
there's no real scope that's designed this way, right?
Right.
Specifically for F open competition like this, 1,000 yard, 600 yards. So it's a really, really interesting thing. But that sort of brings me to wanting to talk about the scopes, right? I mean, I think that's what
Right.
everybody wants. So we have one of them here. I'm testing
Okay.
right now your guys's the March 542 Gen 2 PRS, right? And you can sort
Right.
of tell characteristically by the silver here that you're sort of looking at a March scope. I was watching a video the other day from somebody who they were I think it might have been MDT actually had put out a video, and I saw this color
Oh,
scheme, and I was like, oh, I
yeah.
think that's a March scope.
Yeah.
I didn't see the logo on there, but I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's the PRS
Yeah.
scope.
I saw
Yeah,
that video too.
yeah. So
I
it
don't
made me
remember
laugh.
like lending it to him, so, lending it
Yeah,
to them, so I was
yeah.
laughing too. Yeah.
So I saw it, but I sort of want to talk a little bit about the experience I just had with this, and I want to ask a
Yeah,
question.
sure. Of course.
So I took this out, and I took the 80 out, and I took a couple other scopes out because objectively, I'm trying to understand. Right, I'm not an engineer. I'm not a machinist. I don't. I'm not a PhD in physicist. I don't know how these things work necessarily. What I know is how they feel and how they look. Right,
Mm-hmm.
and looking through these different high end optics, I wanted to see the 80 and I wanted to see the 42 at the same powers and
Mm-hmm.
how they compared, right?
Okay.
For some reason, and I do not know why, and I don't know if you've even looked at this, but when I had the 42 maxed out and I had the 80 at 42, the the PRS scope looked better. It was clearer, it was crisper, like, and this is to say they both look amazing, but just like something with the eye, I was like, why does this look better? Like this shouldn't look better maxed out.
Mm-hmm.
When there's so much more range left on the 80, but I was like, wow, this looks really good. Now obviously when I took the 80 to its max and the 42 to its max, the 80's better, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
obviously it's more zoomed in, you can see a lot more things like that, but I was just like, this is amazing. Like I don't know what this is, but for some reason this scope looks better.
May I ask at which distance you were looking at?
I was looking at, call it like 780 yards.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
something like that.
Well,
Yeah. So
I had a, okay.
I took it out and I looked at I work with West Coast Long Range out here. They put
Mm-hmm.
on a lot of really great matches out here. Mark, Impact Scoring. Mark is one of the owners for that program, and he let me come out to the range. I looked. I think the closest one was 180 yards, and then it goes out to 1,000 yards. The area that I was in, and this is all PRS style shooting. So he has targets out there. So I'm looking at real world targets at these
Hmm.
different distances with these, and I want to say this one was right around 700, and it just looked so good. The PRS scope looked so good maxed out,
Really?
and it was
Okay.
crazy, right? That was the unique experience, like there. I also took it to the my other range, which has a 300 yard, and I
Mm-hmm.
had one at 200, and this one was just a board, right? A board with white
Right.
target on it, and it had gotten pretty hot here in California. It's getting pretty hot early, and there's a mirage all in front of this thing, and when I adjusted the parallax, all of the mirage faded behind the target.
Wow.
It was the weirdest thing I'd ever seen, and I had a bunch of scopes out there. None of them else did it, but it was just like mirage, and it was like whoosh, clear target, and I could see mirage around it, but
Uh-huh.
nothing in front of it. And I think this is
Yeah.
maybe what Shane and Brandon were sort of talking about, how like it cuts through Mirage, but it still
Yeah.
allows you to see Mirage, which
Yes.
is like a super weird thing if you've never experienced that. Can you tell us a little bit about these phenomenons that I'm experiencing?
Yeah. So that will be the high master lens system
Mm-hmm.
assembled into the 5 to 42, 8 to 80 Majesta, and bench rest scopes and other scopes. So there are
Mm-hmm.
few models that have the high master lens system. And before I mention about the super ED lenses,
Mm-hmm.
which reduces chromatic aberration, but we found out that those super ED lenses also handles the mirage so much better than the
Mm-hmm.
ED extra low dispersion lenses.
Mm-hmm.
So that was our recent finding from
Mm-hmm.
shooters' observations. And I think that is why so many shooters choose March, because they can still see the target rather clearly, even
Mm-hmm.
under heavy mirage. And we call
Mm-hmm.
that shimmer protection.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know, our engineer personally thinks that the image quality of the Majesta is much better than the 5 to 42. So I don't know why.
I I will say like this is a comparable distance, like 42 to 42, right? So I don't know if there's
Right.
maybe there's something in the scope because it's not really like 42 is not the optimum level for shooting on that scope, right? It's 40 and 80 are the two positionings for the 80, right? For the most part, like right around there. So I was like, oh, maybe that's something new, but like I don't know. All I know is the 42 just really like cut through a lot that was out there. Now
Hmm.
obviously I'm not going to trade a 42 for the 80 for F class, but for that I was just it sort of blew me away and I was like I don't know what sort of trickery or magic this is that's happening, but it was really interesting to watch.
Well, that was a very interesting feedback.
Mm.
And I told that to our optical designer, and we were like, oh, like, wonder why Mac thinks so. But yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. The interesting thing with optics that a lot of people contextually don't understand is that everybody's eyes are different, right?
Yes.
And
Yes.
we put a lot of emphasis on the scope, and you
Yeah.
guys do a lot of interesting things to help adjust that scope to your eye
Yeah.
in itself. But the
Mm-hmm.
fact is like I a year, almost 2 years ago, I had cataract surgery in both of my eyes, and
Oh,
so who knows, right? Like I don't know. I know my vision is 2020 now, but who knows
okay.
what happened with that? And we don't know. There's people wearing glasses or whatever, and so it's interesting. Like that's why I don't think you can ever fully like objectively say like this is the best scope ever because it does
Mm-hmm.
depend highly on your eyes and then the tool inside the scope I find matters more. I've people have told me straight up like I don't care that glass is clearer because I don't like the reticle. I don't like the tool inside of that I'm
Mm-hmm.
using, right? I'm
Mm-hmm.
not talking specifically about March scopes. I just mean generally, I've
Mm-hmm.
heard that feedback. And so it's so interesting when reviewing and looking at optics like this, um, what it is. But I will say that the all of the marches were outstanding. I mean, there's something
Oh, thank
special. So it's
you.
really
Thank you
cool.
so much, Mac.
Um, I know I feel like I'm being a real fanboy right now, but I did I've looked at a lot of different ones, and what I did was I actually took a friend out who doesn't shoot at all, had
Okay.
never shot before. I set up 7 different scopes, and I just left them out for the day. I positioned them all on these targets, and I just said like, hey, when I'm shooting, you look through the scopes, just look through them, and then when I'm shooting, I'll do the same. And we were out there for about 7 hours
Wow, that's
and,
super
and
long.
yeah, well, when I go shoot because I'm testing stuff, I'm out there for like 7, 8 hours.
Okay.
And I just asked them, I was like, well, what did you think? Right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
what do you think about this scope? What do you think about that scope? And from somebody who objectively, right, who doesn't have an opinion because they haven't spent a lot of time behind other optics, so they don't have a preconceived notion of stuff.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that's an interesting way to look at this from baseline, right?
Right.
He picked the March scopes, right? And there was a
Really?
lot to be there was a lot to be
Oh.
said about the field of view as well on your 40.
Mm-hmm.
Um, just that generally makes
Okay.
everything feel clearer, right?
Mm.
Because you can
Right.
see so much more and it's more aligned with like the way we see things with our eyes, right? The more narrow things look, the more you can feel that it's artificial in sort of the world, right? You're like, I can tell I'm looking through this. But in some
Right.
sort of instance with these wider views that have come out over the last couple of years, it feels more and more like you're just looking through your eyes and your eyes are magnified.
Yeah. Well, maybe that's the reason why you thought the 5 to 42 is better than the 8 to 80, because 5 to 42 has 26 degrees
Hmm.
wide angle view, and
Mm-hmm.
then 8280 has 25 degrees.
Mm. Yeah,
So
very well could have
maybe,
been it. Yeah.
maybe,
Yeah.
yeah. And like you said, it
Also,
depends on each person's eyes, but maybe that's
yeah.
one of the reason.
Yeah. The really the important thing here is that from talking to Brennan and Shane, from talking to you guys, and then being able to spend time behind this objectively, I got to see like what everybody meant. That was sort of
Mm-hmm.
the thing where it was like, what do you mean by this, right? And I think Brandon and Shane explained this really well, where they said, hey, get behind one, right? Come see us at a match. Come get behind one so you can see the difference, so you can understand what we're actually saying. And before I'd seen this, the only time I really got to get behind it was that shot show, which is great. But you're outdoors,
No,
or so
no,
you're
no.
indoors. You have
Yeah.
fluorescent lights, and it's not quite the same thing. So it was a really cool experience. So that's been really fun sort of looking through these. I don't know if anybody else, oh, well, I'm sure like the Texas guys have looked through both of them, right? But I can't imagine there's a ton of people trying to look through both of these, so that maybe is like a weird experience for me myself. But it was really, really fun. And so you get to look through all of these. What's that like for you? I mean, you get to look through like anything that you want there.
Well, yeah, I actually work remotely.
Mm-hmm.
So when I go to the factory in Nagano, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I get to play with toys, but then most
Mm-hmm.
of the time I'm really busy with my meetings. So I think I need to spend more time with our scopes like you do.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I like doing this. It's a lot of fun, but like I said, it is a huge time commitment. I'm going to the range again this weekend to look through
Hmm.
these scopes and do some filming. I think I finally found the way that I want to film it, and I'm planning on 8 hours. So when you're the marketing person for March scopes, you maybe your time commitments are a little different, than what I can do. So really cool. So what's the future of March look like, right? What can we look for? You guys already have so many amazing things in the market. The one thing I'm really looking forward to, I'm hoping that it's maybe going to be at the Euros, or we'll see it again at Shot or something, is the
Hmm.
tracking scope, right?
Oh yeah.
I got to look through that, but I'd love to spend more time behind that. What else do you guys sort of have in the works? Anything that you could talk about, or we need to look forward
Yeah.
to, or
Um, so we are planning to launch the production model of the 8280 Majesta SFP tracking scope, and
okay.
then the 6 to 60 first focal plane tracking scope at the next shot show and the IWA.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and on our website, just yesterday, I made an announcement that we're going to launch the 1 to 10 shorty second focal plane with an integrated mount. We have
Yeah.
had that idea for several years, but now it's actually happening. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so you will be able to see the concept model of that at the shot show in IWA2. And we have some other cool things,
Mm-hmm.
but I can't say that just yet.
What can I ask you why? So you talked about a little bit like super ED, which always makes me giggle a little bit because it's almost like someone's like, "Well, we have ED," and you're like, "Well, we have super ED,
It's
right?"
yeah.
And so, but either way, you talked about fluoride, right?
All
Fluoride
right,
crystal
yeah.
glass. Why is it that that isn't more commonly used? Is that just extremely expensive to source?
It is
Yes,
extremely expensive.
and
It
that's why you
it's
you, you don't normally see them in optics
uh you mean in like normal in
rifle
the
scopes.
normal
Yeah,
market? No,
yeah, yeah.
because it's expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Um and it may be a little hard to manage because there will
Mm-hmm.
be a heat shock. It's more susceptible to heat shock. So you need
Mm,
to be able to design the whole structure. So
I
it's
got
just
you.
not about the lens. So it's about the
Okay.
design. It's about the cost. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why I guess it's hard.
Yeah. Well,
But
it's really
yeah.
interesting because I sort of talk to people about like diminishing returns on like optics generally, like the like how crystal clear do you need to see it to hit this thing, right? Can you see the thing that you're trying to shoot? Is it true, right? Are you shooting true with it? And so I sort of wonder like where that aligns for certain people and for companies and right like what is are we reaching the threshold of what's possible on clarity and necessary really. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know if those answers those can be answered generally, but uh, as human beings I think we always just want better, right? We're like, well,
Yes.
make it better. So
Yeah.
there's always
Yeah.
something to aim for, but there's something generally really interesting about that. But you mentioned a lot of stuff. The one thing you didn't mention is you guys just came out with some rings and partnered with Area
Oh,
419 on them.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That just happened
That's crazy.
recently.
Yeah.
Yes, we are very fortunate to have them as part of our March family,
Hmm.
and yeah, it's coming soon. Um,
Yeah, I saw the UK or Europe,
yeah,
I guess is the
yeah.
what they call them, are starting to sell them.
So March Scopes UK is the supplier of the rings.
Hmm.
We at Deon we mainly focus on rifle scopes
Sure.
and some accessories.
Hmm.
But for rings, March Scopes UK is the supplier, and
Hmm.
they have started taking orders. So if
Hmm.
you're interested, you can
Oh, I'm
contact
I'm a
them or.
100% interested. I already commented. I'm sort of hoping that they'll have because I haven't heard of any U.S. distributors yet saying like they're taking orders. But I'm sort
They
of
are.
hoping
They
they
are.
might have some
Yeah.
at Euros that I can buy.
Hmm.
Right. That's my hope. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being too
Okay.
hopeful on that front. But
Oh, okay.
I'm like, hey,
Oh,
take a couple
I
out
can
there.
check
Or
with Gary.
yeah, they should. Right.
Right.
You
Well, we
know.
will be having like a tent
Okay.
displaying our product, so I'll check about the rings.
Oh,
Yeah.
perfect. So will you guys have the tracking scope out there then?
Yes.
Oh, perfect.
Yes.
That's like the
Yes.
perfect opportunity for me to
Yeah.
look again at it
Yeah.
again. Then that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. So you guys have some interesting things coming out in the future for people that are interested in checking you guys out and can't make the flight to Japan or the UK to meet you or wherever it is. Shot Show, right? Come out to Vegas.
Mhm.
We'll be out there. I'm gonna definitely make some time to go out and spend some time with March again, as well as IWA. If you feel like flying out to Germany and spending some time out there with Mari, and she can walk you through the entire lineup. She knows it all. It's
Well,
really
there's
really
actually more
impressive.
than about like 230 SKUs.
Yeah, yeah. You said that, and
Yeah.
I couldn't
Yeah.
believe that. It's
Yeah,
amazing.
more than three times of other companies. It's crazy.
Yeah, somebody I don't know. I never like double check this, but somebody told me that like every one of them is made to order. Is that
Yes.
true?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fairly abnormal, isn't it?
Yeah. There's actually
Right?
more than yes, it's very abnormal, I think. There's more than 150 parts to make
Mm-hmm.
a single scope. And
Mm-hmm.
after we receive an order from our customer, we start hand building each scope. This is because there's too many variations.
Mm-hmm.
And some customers would ask for like specific uh, requests,
Sure.
and we want to try to accommodate that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like hunters, for example,
Mm-hmm.
they would want an exposed tactical elevation turret, and then for the windage, they would want a capped turret.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not in our menu, but
Mm-hmm.
we can do that too.
Mm.
So yeah. So
Oh,
we
that's really interesting. There's one other thing that I don't think we necessarily talked about, and I don't know like where this currently stands, but I saw that you're now going to be able to do some sort of repairs out of Texas. Is that right?
yeah.
Can you tell us about that a little bit?
Yeah, of course. So now customers have to ship their scopes back to our factory in Japan.
Mm-hmm.
But we are now planning to set up a service center in Texas
Mm-hmm.
from next year. Hopefully, maybe in like the first quarter of 2026.
Mm-hmm.
And if that happens, customers can ship their repair or service required scopes back to that service center in Texas instead of shipping their scopes back to Japan.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, we will be able to do some repairs at the service center,
Yeah.
and hopefully that will help um, shooters and give them some peace of mind.
Yeah. Well, I remember a couple years back, F Class John, who
Yeah,
makes
yeah.
social media content, I remember he dropped his scope and he had to ship it back.
Hmm.
I'm sure he would have been really happy if that only had to go to Texas, where his buddy Eric Cortina is, right? So yeah, I
Right,
mean
right.
that would have been super cool. So yeah, really a lot of interest. I mean, a lot of great stuff already here, obviously, and some interesting stuff coming in the future. Clearly you guys, I mean, the rings things really sort of blew my mind when I saw that. And then Brandon said, about the fixing them here on the States. And so a lot of really great stuff coming out. I think, if you're not familiar with March Scopes, take a look at what they're doing. Take a look at some of the shooters that are behind this. If you have the opportunity, if you're out here in California, and you want to come shoot in Northern California, you can take a look behind my scopes if you're out in Texas. And I'm sure there's plenty more shooters across the country that are running these March scopes
Hmm.
that you guys can get behind. So, Mari, I appreciate you being on today. Before we jump off, this is the opportunity. Are there any Facebook accounts they should be following? Any social media accounts they should be following? Websites, anything like that?
Yes, we have Markscope's website, Markscope's Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube.
All
Uh,
of them.
all of them. Well, I think we're especially active with Facebook.
Hmm.
So we would hope if you could follow us there.
Yeah.
And
There you go,
yeah.
guys. Straight from the horse's mouth. Give them a follow. Help them out. Regardless of who you support in this community, and we've had other scope companies on the podcast. Our goal is to grow the community, right? Our goal
Yes,
our goal is
yes,
to get more shooters into this
absolutely.
community, provide these options, push the industry forward, and I think Deon, March are doing exactly that. So thank you so much for everybody
Thank
that's
you.
listening. Thank you. Go and share, comment, like, right? It goes a long way for what we're doing. If you have a chance, get out to the range, take a shot, and we will see you next time.